Alright, I'm over here at another store, and what I found was actually what the call was, seafood case running warm. So we're going to go to the E2 controller, go to our alarms, and see if we can find it there. They had a power outage here on Saturday the 3rd. So the controller shut down, then it started back up. Right here. But this has been going on before. The fish case. 21 and 128 goes in and out. So that's 5D. Case number 1. Service fish. So I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go to my circuits, and then I'm going to look for 5D, which is there. So I'm going to bring my cursor down to 5D, highlight it, go into that, and then right now it's running at 38 degrees, but that's a service fish case, so to me that's a little warm. My temperature is supposed to be 29, my set point. So right now that's my actual case temp. It's 38 degrees, so it's pretty much. So right now my solenoid, refrigeration solenoid is calling to be on. No defrost, and that should do it on that. So let's go see what's controlling this, T-stat or EPR, or if the power surge affected the rack, which is probably causing this temp to go up. I don't know. Let's go find it, take a look. Okay, the first thing I usually look at to find what's controlling it is on the map, the printout. So this is, okay, again, registers here in front of the store. I walked into this door. So my meat cases are all the way in the back. That's my receiving door here, and this is my seafood case right here. So it looks like there's a T-stat and a solenoid. There's an arrow in there, 5D. See that? That's through the remodel. 5D, there's a time clock also under the case. So now I know that my T-stat is controlling this seafood case. So we're going to go down there in a minute, but first I want to check the rack to make sure that I have no compressors off. So let's go check that first. System 4.5. That's my system. So 5 is what I want to look at, but I'm going to check all the compressors anyway. So we found that. I'm going to open this up. There are 3 breakers, 3 contactors, 1, 2, 3 compressors. Okay, so nothing's tripped. I already got my contactor pulled in for one of my compressors. This one's not pulled in, but it looks pretty bad as we fitted in there. And here's the other one. I can't tell unless I get my amp meter. So let me go grab that real quick. Alright, got my... Let me see if there's any amps going out of this. No amps on that one. So I'm just going to clip it there to hold it up. I'm going to switch this to voltage. Hold on, excuse me guys. So that's at voltage. So I'm just going to check to see if I have voltage to my contactor, which I do. You can probably see that there. I'm going to go to 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 1 to 2, which is there, 1 to 3, which is there, and then 2 to 3. So I got voltage going there. Let me check this other one here. again, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, and then 2 to 3. We're good there. Alright, so looks like I'm gonna see at the controller how many compressors are being called for. So I'm gonna walk over to my controller here. 5 and 6. Let's take a look at this. I'm gonna stop and turn off my light. Okay, I'm back. Alright, so suction groups is what I want to go to. I'm gonna go into that. I want to look for 4 and 5 right there. I'm holding suction, so let's go down and go into that. Alright, I got 2 compressors calling. 1 and 2, and the third one's not. So let's go back and check to see if it's calling or running. Okay, so let me see here. I gotta follow the wires. So this is I'm just gonna say compressor 3. So we'll follow the wire going in. See, that shoots all the way across. So that one is that satellite compressor, I want to call it, because it's off to the side. This one, let's follow that now. This one goes straight down, goes to here. It goes there. So we're going to see if this thing's off on oil. Yep. Nope, not off on oil. Okay, that's my third one, so that one's not being called. This 2 are being called. So this contactor here goes to this compressor. This one's off on the oil. Yeah, I just reset it right now. It's good to go. And the reason why I just reset it is because they had a power outage. So when the power is completely shut down, those oil fails will always trip. Not always, I shouldn't say always. It all depends on how long it's down for. But the majority of them trip because they're tied into the power. So when they receive no power, they just trip. That's their safety feature. So I reset it. I'm going to check oil pressure right now just to make sure it's good, but I'm assuming we're pretty good on this. This one disengaged, de-energized, so it's basically just cycling off of these 2 back and forth. So let me grab my gauges and check the oil pressure for this one. Alright, I got my gauge on there. That's my oil pressure. You put your high gauge on your oil pressure, or your oil pump, or your Copeland. And in the back, I got my suction gauge directly on the compressor itself. I don't like to put it on the suction filter because that's not giving the true reading of the actual compressor. So let me go ahead and force the compressor on so I'll get a consistent run. Let's go back over here. Okay, go into. I'll just leave my light on work. I'll shut it off. Okay. I'm gonna go into. 6. That's not what I want. I want 5. The other controller. So go to my suction group. Go to 4 or 5. Okay, so I want to go down to my compressor 2. I don't have my override. I didn't log in. That's what you got to do. You got to log in. So let me do that real quick. Let me see. card will give me. There's my override option now. Okay, yes, override, yes. Hit the Y for yes. Enter, and then you want to change that to on. Enter. Now that forces my compressor on. So let's go back to the compressor. Alright, now I need light. Now let's see this. Alright, so my compressor's running now. I need light. Alright. So right now I got, trying to get the glare out. There we go. I don't know, that's about what, 115 PSI? That's pretty good for a pump. Okay, let's see what my suction pressure is. See if I can get it. That's exactly what it is. What is it, 115? Yeah. Wow. That's about 5 PSI. That's pretty high. Good oil pressure, but you know, it's not going to make it worse. Only less is what we're worried about. We don't want to be under 40. 43, 40. We don't want to be under all that. That's too low oil pressure. So 65 is excellent oil pressure. So we got a good oil pressure. We got oil. That's good. It is real good. Well, that shows my oil level. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of low. Let's let it run for a while, see if I get my oil back. It's been off since, I'm assuming, Saturday. Today's Monday. It's been off for a while, so we'll let it run. This is the satellite compressor, the third compressor. And my evap condenser. There's the other side. Everything. Oh wait. Okay, so my suction pressure is dropping. Remember, we just started it up a little while ago, so we're reading about 47 PSI. So my oil pump pressure should be dropping as well. A little bit, yeah. We're both dropping around the same time, so I'll wait till that oil comes back a little bit more. Alright, let's go down to the case and take a look. I'm at my seafood case now. Yeah, there's my thermometer, which is 25, and I got a strap there. So that's more holding 38. There's my sensor, and it's just laying there. Well, gotta strap it up. Maybe we'll get some zip ties. Hopefully that'll fix my problem on my temperature issue, because right now my temperature's doing good. I'll put a fluke in here just to get the actual temp, but I'll strap that up. Maybe we'll get some zip ties. Okay, got my zip tie here. Throw a little bend in there, try to hook through the coil a little bit better. Zip tie it. I'll show you when it's all done. Okay, back at the controller. Zip tied it down as you see, and we are already 23 degrees. which is good for seafood. You want it as cold as possible. Again, that's strapped onto the coil, so it's not actually 24, 23 degrees. It's probably like in the low 30s right now. It's 28, 30, which is perfect for seafood. So we're all good, and that should do it. Well, let me just double check a couple things, and then we'll see if that's all. Alright, so I'm back at my compressor on 4-5. Oh, you can't really do it right. So it hasn't really gone up at all. So let's see what's what. I checked the other compressor. The one here, I don't know if you can see that too good. That's like halfway. Hard to see. That's halfway. And then I got this compressor here. That's also halfway. So then I go to my reservoir. Got a full side glass. So I got oil. It's not like I'm lacking oil or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up my oil regulator here and see if I can get more oil in there. Okay, I cleaned the sight glass a little bit better, so you can probably see that. It's pretty low. So let's see here. Grab my gauge. Not my gauge. My service wrench. Probably round it off. Might have to use a wrench. This thing won't go on here. Usually these fit perfect, no problem. Somebody probably put a wrench, rounded it off somewhere where it won't go on anymore. Now I can't even put my service wrench on there. Nope. Not the other side, that's for sure. It's too big. Feels like it's all the way open. You want to adjust these open. See right there, I found a little resistance. Right there. If you try to go too much, it'll unscrew the entire thing. So that's all the way open. I might have a bad throat. It's not feeding anything. I'm gonna try closing it all the way down and opening it all the way up. See if that works. Alright, so I'm gonna, well, what happened was I tried to open and close it like I said I was, but once I started opening it up again, it just started unscrewing through the top. The float's probably just a little ball float, probably just foul in there, which is causing it no oil to come through anymore. So I'm gonna have to see if I have one in my van. If not, I'm gonna go pick one up. So let's see if I have one. Let's see. Nope, that's the bottom plate on an oil separator. Got some extra blades, which I don't like carrying because they last forever in here. These are a bunch of motors, solenoid valves, T-stat, dryers, contactors, power heads, oil controls. I got an oil filter. Nope, don't have one. Gotta go pick one up. Alright, let's go pick one up. This is where I pick up my parts from. This is the closest place right here from where I was at. So I'm gonna go see if they got it or not. Alright, this is it. They had one. It's like, let's do an unboxing here. You know how those guys do with one hand? Now I know how they feel. So this is it. Side glass on one, the other side goes to compressor, and my oil inlet goes on top. So, alright, let's go back to the store and install this thing. Okay, made it back. Got my oil regulator for oil level control. So I'm gonna go ahead and isolate the compressor, put my gauges on there, and take this apart. So I'll record on a few things. I can't record as I'm doing it. I just don't have that set up yet. Alright, here we go. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is shut this off, isolate this inlet by this red handle right here. Make sure it's nice and tight. Alright. And then go around. Speed it up. Alright. The needle's starting to go down. One off on low pressure. Tighten this up. Okay. So now I'm going to turn my gauge so I can see it on the other side. Go around. Okay, I'm going to get to my contactor. So it's this one here, which is this one. Well, I can't just push it in. It won't let me. But I can control it off my double check which one is it? This one. Under pressure. Maybe I could do it. That's compressor 1. Let me double check. I don't know if you've seen that alright, but I'm going to take off this is my dual pressure control. High and low side. Stick that right there. That bypasses it. It just kicked on. I don't know if you heard that. Now I'm going to look at my needle. Oh, it's already down there. Once I hit that, it already went to 0. So we're good. Alright, my valves are holding too. So what I'm going to do to make sure it doesn't turn on again is it's this one right here. Compressor 1, 5-1. That was my low pressure, 5-1. Shut that down. And to be safe, shut the breaker down too. Okay? Now I'm gonna have a little bit of oil in here, but it's probably hardly anything in here. So I'm just gonna start unscrewing this. Unscrew this here. Take that off, and then unscrew this. We'll be good to go. All right, just took this off. Here's my screen. It's not bad. I'll clean it anyway since I got it out. I got my cleaning solvent right here. That's what I use. I'll clean that out. Actually, I don't have to clean it out. I just thought about it. It's a brand new one going in there, so I can eliminate that process, right? All right. So now I'm going to take these screws off here, and then I'll take the whole assembly off. All right. Sorry for the camera work. Just took the last screw off. See how no oil came out? Look at that in there. Well, like completely down. Barely got any oil in there. So we're gonna put the new one in. Alright, here's the new one. It looks pretty much the same, but this one here you can adjust it. So once I put it on, I'll see where my oil level is, and then I'll adjust it from there. There's my new screen right there. There it is. Brand new screen, so much for cleaning. Put it on. Alright, I got one screw in. They never make these easy. These are always a pain in the ass to put in. Wrench on it now. And by the way, I put my washer, it's a rubber O-ring in there. I went ahead and put that in oil. That way it won't dry out. It needs to be oiled up on any gaskets or rubber seals. It has to have the oil in there. You get a better seal out of it that way, and it lasts longer. And you don't want these screws very tight, especially on a rubber O-ring. They just could be snug enough, you know, tight enough, but don't crank down on them too much, because then you're not doing any good that way. So just snug them up. If it leaks a little bit, then tighten it up a little bit more. That's the way I usually do it. Okay, so now I got this in there. A little more in the back. There we go. Alright. Now I'm going to take the glass off of this, clean it up, and then put it here. Alright, took the screws off of this side glass. See that rubber O-ring right here? Goes right in there. So it's not that dirty on the inside, but I'm still going to clean it on the inside. And I just get the rag and just clean it up real good. There's a lot of little grooves in here. I get my nail into the groove. Try to clean it up. Anytime you change the oil, and this is my rule of thumb, anytime I change the oil or do anything that has to do with isolating the compressor, I clean the side glass. I know it's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but I tell you what, better to see oil in that side glass and then trying to figure out or guess if there is oil in there or not. So, we're good here. clean on the outside too. So I'm gonna go ahead and install it. I'm gonna get my O-ring. See how this one is. And I usually use just the oil that came off of the that came out of the oil, the other oil level. There we go. Right there's a little lip. See, that one has the same indentation. So what I usually do, and the reason why they have this little lip on the inside, I don't know if you can see, but right in there's like a little groove, and that's so you can overlap a round O-ring on it on top. Because what's going to happen is this only goes up maybe just a hair over this metal plate. The rubber O-ring goes up just a hair over this metal plate. This one here has an indentation already, so you have to stick another O-ring in that one in order for it to seal properly. And then those two rubber O-rings, they connect. And I usually go by the little stamp right here on the bottom. You can see that stamp right there. And that usually lines it up. That should be on the bottom. That usually lines up all the holes. And there you go. They're all pretty much lined up. So I'm going to get the screws in there, and then I'll get back to you. Alright, got that on. I haven't tightened it down yet. I put on new screws that came with the package. So that way I get a good seal on it. See, it's going to turn the back, so I'm going to need to hold the back. So I'll turn it back on when I'm all done tightening this down. Alright, went ahead and tightened that down. And again, this is rubber O-ring on rubber O-ring, so you don't want to crank these down too much, because it's just going to flatten out that O-ring, and it's just no good for the O-ring. So just enough so you won't turn it anymore. You don't want to crank on it too much. Same thing with this one. So I'm pretty much done here. Just going to put this back on, and I usually pull this out here, that way you can see the flare fitting. Just get it in there and then tighten it up. So I need 2 hands for that. Alright, put my flare fitting on, and again with the tightening, don't crank this down too much. It's a flare fitting. It's just the copper that molds over the top, and then this tightens it down. So you don't have to crank this down. If you crank it down, you start flattening the flare fitting, or you start cracking it, and eventually it'll just break off. I've learned this from experience, so trust me. Alright, so we got this tight, and tightened out. So now we're just going to go ahead and open up our oil. I have it disconnected. I don't have my gauge in the back. I don't have my gauge back there, so what I'm going to do, if I open this up, it should blow out through my back and I can cap it up. So let's see, you can see the oil. Okay, my hand valve's all the way open, starting to fill up. Look how clean you can see that oil. That's why it's important to clean those side glasses. I mean, once that settles, that's pretty much where you want your oil. You want it between a half to 3/4. That's a little under a half. I may have to adjust it, but we'll see how it looks when we start running it. Because remember, it's going in here and it's filling up this compressor, so it's not going to be level right away. It keeps going in, it fills up the compressor right here until it comes from here to here. And then it'll stop wherever this is adjusted for. So we don't want to adjust this right away. So then let's go around to my suction side. I got some gas coming out of here, so I basically purged out my compressor. All right, just purged all the non-condensables out. So now I'm going to go ahead and open it. It's not going to turn on low pressure because I have the breaker off and I have the toggle switch off. So I'm just going to open this all the way. There we go. Give it a good pull. Make sure it's tight. Got my cap right here. I'm gonna go get my wrench down on that. Now if this is a metal one, that's why I'm putting the wrench. But if it was a plastic one, usually you see the plastic ones on the suction side, sometimes on the discharge, but that's kind of rare. So only on the plastic ones you want to do a really nice hard hand tight. You really don't want to put a wrench on it because there's a rubber seal in there. So you just want to do a nice hand tight. And if that packing nut is leaking a little bit, that rubber seal will keep it from leaking out. So let me get my wrench. I wrench that down a little bit. That's good right there. You don't want it too tight, you don't want it cracking it because it's aluminum. Alright, so it's pretty much settled down. Okay, I'm going to start it up. Probably have to adjust my flow. And we'll see where it's at. Alright. Go ahead and start the compressor up. I'm going to reset my oil. I always push this in even though I really don't need to. Turn on my, well, I'm not going to turn that on yet. Turn my breaker on. There. Turn my toggle switch on. There goes my compressor. Starting to rise a little bit. Pretty slow. But I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm not going to adjust anything yet until it stops rising. Rising very slow. I'll get back with you guys and see where it's at. Okay, it's been a while now. The level has pretty much stayed the same. So I'm going to head and adjust it. Got my service wrench here. And it's just like a faucet. You turn it to the right. That will open it. It's like a faucet. You're opening up the faucet. So as you keep turning it, and I'm not counting my turns, I'm just kind of turning it. That should be good right there for a minute. Now my oil level is starting to rise up a little bit. Work that a little bit more. I'm doing like little quarter turns each time, so that's why it's coming up a little slow. So we're almost to the half. I'm gonna probably just get it right about a half and then I'll leave it alone. And these take a little bit to adjust. I'm gonna leave it about right there. By the time it starts to level out, because remember, it's filling the entire compressor. So it's going to take a little bit. It has to come in and fill the entire compressor to get to where it needs. Alright guys, so I'm pretty much done. I got everything in, adjusted. Oh, final thing. Always, always, always. Remember, every time you put in a new part, date it. Alright. So we are on February 5th. Monday. 18. Alright guys, that's the ugly 8, but there. Alright guys, I'll see you on the next service call. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share if possible. And again, see you on the next service call.